Hey guys, I'm Chef Jen, and today I'm making homemade SpaghettiOs. This is so much better than anything in the can. I promise you. It's got less sugar, no high fructose corn syrup, and is so much tastier, I promise you. SpaghettiOs was trying to be Italian when they made this, but this is the real deal. Give it a try. Guys, hey there. In the next, 7-8 minutes, I'm gonna show you how to make SpaghettiOs from scratch. You know, the canned stuff that we all grew up eating? That stuff is just chemicals in a can. In fact, the third ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. What are you feeding your kids? Don't give it to your kids. It's terrible. It doesn't take much longer to make it from scratch with real ingredients and real flavor. And I'm also going to show you a chefing trick that's going to blow your mind and change tomato sauces for you forever. So first, let's talk about the pasta. I'm gonna get my water boiling because we are gonna have to cook the pasta. SpaghettiOs are made based on Anelletti pasta. They use a special shape just for their cans. But what it is, it's a small, round, circular, not very thick circle of pasta. Anelletti might be a little hard to find, but you can order it online or get it in a specialty Italian deli. We're going to use about 12 ounces of it for this recipe. We're also going to use finely chopped onion, very finely chopped. You can even grate the onion if you really want it to melt into the sauce. Garlic, crushed tomatoes, tomato paste, lots of butter, and sugar. Okay, before you scream at me, because I hate putting sugar in sauces, I really, really, truly do. But everybody knows that SpaghettiOs are sweet. So if you're looking for that sweet vibe, you're gonna wanna add a little bit of sugar. But you don't have to add in all kinds of sugar. I'm saying maximum 3 teaspoons. Start with 1 teaspoon, add it to the sauce, let it melt in and stir in, taste it, and then add it spoonful by spoonful until you get it where you want it so that you're not just eating a sickly sweet pile of tomato sauce. Yuck. Okay, I've got some butter going in here. The other fun thing about my recipe, there's a little bit of butter in it, just a little bit. That's going to be part of what helps give it that really great mouthfeel. You could substitute some of the butter for olive oil. That would be fine too. But I love my butter. And I love these little cubes of Challenger butter. We're using 8 tablespoons. So it's basically half a stick of butter. And I'm going to show you what we do. We're going to melt half of it to start with to cook our onions and garlic. And then the other half we're going to add at the end to make the sauce silky and rich and delicious. And real cheese. We all know there's no real cheese in SpaghettiOs. I've got real Parmesan. In fact, if you look at the ingredients on a can of SpaghettiOs, they have cheese flavor. It's not even real cheese. There's no way they could charge under $1.50 a can if they put real cheese in there. Do yourself a favor and use real Parmesan. Okay, let's get going. I got my water on to cook my noodles. I've pre-diced my onion. It's really, really super tiny dice. You can even put it in a food processor. That'd be fine. It doesn't matter. You just want it really small so that it melts into the sauce. You can also grate it. I often grate onion. In fact, in the next recipe I'm gonna do for you guys, no spoilers, I'm going to grate the onion for that one because I don't want chunks of onion in that sauce. I want it to melt all into it and be delicious. I don't think there's anything better smelling than onions and garlic cooking. Okay, now for the garlic. I've got 2 cloves of garlic. I have a microplane grater. I love using a microplane grater with my garlic because it gets it really finely, almost pureed without having to have fancy knife skills or do a bunch of sticky chopping because garlic, as we all know, gets a little sticky. So right down to the nub. Don't grate your fingers. Look, it sticks to the back. It's perfect. All right, garlic clove number 2. Don't be afraid of garlic. Garlic is your friend. Oh, don't use garlic. Please don't use garlic. That stuff is an abomination. It shouldn't even be sold. It's terrible. It doesn't taste like garlic. It doesn't look like garlic. There's nothing garlicky about it except the name where they want you to believe it's garlic. If you need to cheat a little bit, and I do give you permission to cheat a little bit, you can buy the cloves already peeled. That's okay. They don't tend to have as much garlic flavor, but I'd rather you use whole peeled garlic cloves than garlic. Okay, in goes the garlic. Give it a stir. Smells good. Just give it a stir all around, all that buttery goodness. All right, we're gonna let this cook for a minute. You want it to soften, not brown. So if you're starting to get brown bits from your onion or your garlic, turn your heat down. I'm gonna give this a couple minutes to cook, and then we'll be back for the next step. Okay, so ready for the next step, which is my chef's secret. Tomato paste has tons of flavor. It's packed with flavor. But all too often, people don't treat it properly, and they just dump it into their tomato sauce and away they go. You need to let your tomato sauce bloom a little bit. So we're gonna use about 2 tablespoons. I'm just eyeballing. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it's right in with the butter and the onions, and we're just going to let it almost caramelize a little bit on the bottom. That is going to be the difference between sort of a flat, tinny flavored sauce and something that tastes homemade and delicious. So this just takes a couple of minutes here on the bottom. Let me get my bigger thing. I'm gonna make a mess. I'm gonna be cleaning dishes all afternoon. You'll know it's done when it starts to stick a little bit to the bottom, and that's okay. Because what's happening is it's burning off the water that's in there, and it's going to start to caramelize all those sugary tomatoey bits, and that's going to give it so much more depth of flavor than if you just added your tomato sauce in right away. So we're just going to give this a minute. All right, so we're starting to get a little bit of stickage on the bottom, which is what you're looking for. That's perfect. That's building some great flavor. Next, I'm going to add my crushed tomatoes in here, and then my water's boiling, so I'm going to add the pasta. So when you add your pasta, make sure your water is salted really well. People like to say it should taste like the sea. I don't know if it needs to be quite that salty, but fairly aggressively salted. And then you're just going to cook your pasta based on the package directions. These cook really quickly in just a handful of minutes. The sauce is going to come up to a simmer. I'm going to pop a lid on it. I'm going to add the sugar at the end so that we can check it for sweetness at the end, because there's already a lot of natural sugar in tomato. All right, lid on. My Anelletti is going in the water. I need a stirring thing. It's either a bum spanker or a stirrer. Pasta's in. It's going to come up to a simmer. I'm going to let it simmer for a handful of minutes, and then I'll be back to put this dish all together. It's quick, it's easy, it's delicious, and it's way better for you than the canned stuff. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, our pasta's almost done. It's probably about 7-8 minutes cooking time. Sauce is pretty much done. Oh, baby, look at that. Don't worry if it's sticking a little bit to the bottom. That's okay. Not only is it flavor, but we're going to loosen up the sauce a little bit before we're done, because the cheese is going to thicken it up too. So what I want you to do, before you just go ahead and drain your pasta into the sink, into a strainer in the sink, I want you to save some of that pasta water. There's tons of flavor in it, plus a little bit of salt, and it's going to help loosen up the sauce a little bit. So if you were worried about those onions, you can't even see them anymore because I chopped them so finely. They've pretty much just melted into the sauce, which is what we're looking for. And our pasta is going to finish cooking in the sauce for the last couple of minutes. So you don't want to cook it all the way through. You want pasta to be al dente, which means that it still has a bit of a bite to it. If you're going for the whole, I don't know, mashable, you know, the stuff that comes in a can is just so soft. It's just got a weird texture to it, not a pasta texture. Then you could overcook your pasta if you really wanted to. If you've got somebody that's on like a soft food diet, go ahead and cook your pasta for an extra minute or two and make it really nice and soft for them. Otherwise, al dente. even 1 minute less than al dente because it is going to finish cooking in the sauce. Let me check it. The only way to check is to taste it. So just go ahead and fish one out. Oh, they're so cute. These little O's. Don't burn your fingers or your face. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to drain it. I almost didn't listen to my own advice. I'm going to save some of the cooking liquid first. Don't worry if you get a couple of O's in there. That's okay. It's okay. Get it? Ah, I'm hilarious. Okay. Into the strainer. Back over. You're going to get it right in your sauce, which is why I'm working with such a big pan and not just a small pot, because I knew the pasta was going to come back in here. Get it all out. My little ring O's are sticking to the bottom. That's okay. All right. In it goes. You want it to coat everything nicely, but it's looking a little thick. I'm going to add some water in here. Just a couple tablespoons at a time to get it to the consistency that we're looking for. Beautiful. Let me fish these guys out. Get in the pot. Get in the pot. Is that it? Maybe. Okay. Before we add the Parmesan, we're going to add the butter to it. Okay, don't look. If you're really objecting to this much butter going in, you can add a drizzle of olive oil. That would be okay. You don't want to boil the crap out of this when the butter's in because it'll split. So I'm turning off my heat. In goes the butter. We're just going to let it melt in there. This is going to be so delicious. Sometimes simple food is good food. I think including salt and pepper, there are 10 ingredients in this dish, but they're simple ingredients. Onion, garlic, butter, pasta, tomato, that's it. All right, sugar. Okay, I'm not getting hung up on the sugar. I'm not going to put as much sugar in as you guys might put in. That is to your preference. Okay, so now it's where I want it. We're going to add our Parmesan, and then we're going to season it with salt, pepper, and sugar because the cheese is salty. Butter. I used unsalted butter, but if you were to have used salted butter, it would also be a little salty. So get that cheese in, let it melt, be all delicious. Where's my salt? Here's my salt. All right, I'm going to taste a little bit so I have an idea how much salt to add. The butter. Butter makes everything better. All right, season with salt and pepper. Way over there. Freshly ground pepper, please. I mean, if all you got is the dry, powdery stuff that's been sitting in the back of your pantry cupboard for 3 years, then use it, but it's going to taste more like sawdust than pepper. Okay, sugar. I have 3 teaspoons here. I'm not going to add all 3 teaspoons to start with. I'm going to add about half. Stir it all around. Make sure it tastes the way I want it to. And if it's sweet enough, I'm going to stop there. You can go ahead and add more, but don't just dump it all in and then go, Jen, it's too sweet. I didn't like it. I warned you. I did. I said, don't dump it all in at once. Okay, let me just check it. It doesn't need a single thing more. Salt, pepper, a little bit of acidity from the tomatoes, good cheesy flavor, cute little ringies. I just love it. That's it, guys. It took less than 30 minutes with me yapping all the way through it. Probably closer to 20 minutes. You can have dinner on the table. Relive your childhood. Make these SpaghettiOs today. And don't forget, I will drop the link to the Anelletti in the link below. And I will also give you a sneak peek for the next video. We're going to be making a box classic at home from scratch that tastes way better than anything from the box. So I'll see you next time. Don't forget to follow. I always forget to say that. Please follow me for more.